Deep Dive Film School makes no claim of ownership of the film footage used in this episode. The film footage is owned entirely by the copyright holders. Also, we're going to spoil the hell out of this movie, so this is your warning. Welcome to Deep Dive Film School!
Oh, this week we're going to get into that one scene from Flashdance.
Oh, what a feeling! All right, everybody, I'm Adam Sherlock.
And I'm Adam Pulcher.
And if you like what you see/hear, please like and subscribe. You can find us in all the spaces and places that people what, Adam?
Find good media.
That's right. And this week, we're going to be doing that one scene
from Flashdance.
So,
full exposure here.
Yes.
Never seen Flashdance before.
Are you serious?
Until today.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I did.
You watched the whole movie?
First time watching. I did because I wanted to have the context.
I had no idea that you had never seen Flashdance.
Of the audition scene, and since this is the end scene of the movie.
Right, it's the last scene of the movie.
I had to watch the whole thing to build up to it. So, right. So anyways, just full exposure. So I'm curious to ask you, we can get into kind of, one, I had no idea this was Adrian Lyne.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I didn't know that at all.
Boy, isn't the Adrian Lyne New York, like, I want to visit the Adrian Lyne New York.
It's true. Like, he does that really well.
Lots of
Fatal Attraction, Jacob's Ladder.
Sewer grate covers with, like, steam coming out of it. Hobos around campfires in the corners.
And this movie was written by our good friend, Joe Eszterhas. Do you know him? Do you remember him?
I do remember Joe.
He wrote Showgirls.
Yes, he did.
He went on to, no big deal, because this was basically Showgirls before Showgirls.
I was going to say...
To a degree.
I was going to say that...
He also did... what was it? Sliver and Basic Instinct.
Yes, I did.
So he loves the sexy movie.
I actually cut to image of Joe with his tiny hands. It's interesting because I did mention Showgirls because I was like, so there's so many things about this movie that are 80s that don't have anything to do with the music or her outfit. Her adorable, like, stretched out neck
that became
sweatshirt outfit.
That became a thing for sure. This movie had a huge... I know, like, even without seeing it, had a huge influence on pop culture.
Oh, yeah.
And the 80s and how girls dressed and, like, how big of a kind of a cult movie this actually was.
Totally. But then we have a girl who just wants to be a dancer, who's a welder, which I love that aspect.
In a man's world.
In a man's world, again, super 80s. The fact that she spends her nights at a cabaret club. Is
that what it is? Because, like, it's not quite a strip club, but it's nothing but dudes watching girls dance on stage. They don't get naked. But
which is again why I said
one step above. Yeah,
that's
cabaret.
why I said. Yeah. Well, that's why I said Showgirls, because I was like, "There's kind of one of those clubs in Showgirls."
Here, Joe. There's a theme here.
It's a bunch of movies written by a guy who's never actually been to a strip club before, because this isn't what they're like. So
Jennifer Beals is fucking stunning, though. Holy cow.
She is incredible.
So gorgeous here.
Yes. It is.
She does a great job as well. I don't really know what ended up happening to her. I think when I was doing research of this, it seemed like somebody who would have easily could have become like a Michelle Pfeiffer or something like that, right?
Totally.
Type of 80s, 90s actress. And she went on to study at Yale. She never really cared about being in Hollywood until years later in her life. So it's kind of interesting.
And then she did the L Word, isn't that right?
She's done a number of things now. And before, she just didn't care about money and would rather have an education. It's great, but like I bet she could have been an A-lister kind of star.
She was like the biggest thing on the planet.
She's great here. She's obviously a good dancer. She kind of gets artistic with it at some point in the movie, and she wants to go to this prestigious school. And, she has multiple people in her life that are trying to kind of encourage her to do that. And no one doubts that she would do really well in it, right?
Right.
But she's also super insecure and doesn't have any formal training.
That's the thing,
and so she wants to go to this dance academy school thing, and there's auditions and tryouts and everything. And there's a lot building up to this final scene, I guess. Exactly.
And so this is so funny that you'd never seen this before. And I have to say, just full disclosure, when I was like, oh, we should do this audition scene, which is the pinnacle, it's the very last scene in the movie, in my brain, because I hadn't seen this movie in a really long time, the earlier, in my opinion, much sexier scene where she's also still in the black outfit with the black leg warmers and the whole thing.
As a kid of the 80s, I wish I would have discovered this movie earlier.
I know.
As a teenage boy,
I know.
I would watch this one a lot.
Wait, what? I missed that?
She's Meryl Streep.
It's incredible. It's truly incredible. But so really there's the "Oh What a Feeling" song, and that's the end song. Yeah. But then there's the earlier one, which is the Maniac song, where she's doing the you see her feet doing the fast.
Made for this movie, right?
Yep, and you see the fast. In fact, I think Maniac says she's a steel town girl. I think that's the first line of the song. But again, just full disclosure. The dance in that earlier one, to me, is a more effective, energetic.
I agree.
Scene.
I almost
than
text
the end
you
scene.
did you mean this scene?
I know, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's fine because we should talk about this end one anyway because there's some good stuff
great,
here.
And from what I've read and the research I've done on this particular scene, it's iconic for a lot of people. So, to me, in particular, the scene it's fine. It's great. It's kind of everything I expected. It's only 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just predictable, I guess, more than anything.
It is predictable, and there's a couple of caveats I have to make that that this time around I noticed. One is, are you really going to put on a vinyl record in a room where you're going to be jumping around and dancing? That's the most unbelievable part of that scene.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I'm like, how did that record
if you have a really
skip
solid
once?
table?
Yeah, good. maybe so. Maybe it's a shock mount. Second thing, the leaping. The multi-cam leaping is pretty corny. I had forgotten about that. That's not super great. Because otherwise, the setup is great, right? You have that big, long room. You have a bunch of characters down at the end that look like all they do is sit in this room and judge young women.
It's also not her.
So,
she has 4 body doubles.
Yes.
And one of them's a man.
Okay.
That has a mustache. So at one point, you could actually see her with a mustache.
Yes. When it goes into the breakdancing sequence.
Yes, it's obviously that guy, yeah.
The breakdancing sequence, there is stunt double fuckery on the level of Spaceballs. Okay? And it is, and I was like, that's a dude, and guess what? It is a dude. His name is Richard Colin.
Crazy Legs or something.
Crazy Legs. He was a legendary b-boy. I'm like, there was not one woman in the United States of America
that could break
that Adrian Lyne could find.
And he refused to shave his mustache. He did every other thing they needed.
Oh, see, it's like this. It's like
that's
the
80s right there.
It's like the Superman thing. They couldn't CGI out a mustache.
But this movie got pretty panned when it came out. Most critics thought it was like Saturday Night Fever with a girl, basically some version of that. But this scene in particular, like I said, the "What a Feeling" song and the use of music was really it's what gets the people going in the room and whatever.
Yeah.
But overall, it's it's fine. The scene's fine. But if we would have done the other scene, I think there'd be more to.
But what's crazy is
dissect.
And again, just to put it all out there, this was not one I thought of. I had done a Google search of the top 500 scenes in a movie, and this was one of them. And I was like, oh, that might be a fun one to revisit. And in revisiting it, I'm like, it's fine. Again, the earlier scene's better, and that scene is kind of whatever. It's pretty dated, and you're right, it's not her. That's the bummer part of it.
Yeah, if it was her, it would be a lot more amazing, I think.
Now, let me ask you this, just as a final thought. Overall, your thoughts about Flashdance as a movie?
It was fine, like you said. It's fine like the scene. It's kind of fun to see the snapshot of that time and place in the world. And Adrian Lyne is always great. It's made wonderfully. And the characters are super rich and interesting. I love the cook comedian guy. Mm-hmm. And just some of the your typical bad guys, just the bar owner guy,
the strip club guy.
Oh,
well, again, this lives in a world somewhere between Showgirls and I'd say Purple Rain. There's also kind of this there's no club that actually is like that in the world, but they exist in Purple Rain.
Not in America. Anyways.
No. So
it was a fine movie. It was short and sweet, so it wasn't too bad. And again, she was awesome in it.
She's great.
She was the best discovery of it for sure. And she did a good job.
Yep.
Reading through the list of directors and actors that were going to have that part, though, and who were going to direct it is endless.
Really?
Yeah, and you're like, oh, that would be interesting. Oh, that'd be interesting. Like, just tons of them. It's like too many to remember, but go look it up. It's like surprising.
And Lyne got it, so.
Yeah.
Well, in the classic words of Bad Santa, they can't all be winners.
I was just going to say that. Thank you so much for doing that. All right. Well, that is one scene from
Flashdance.
Yeah. It turned out differently than we have with most of these.
Listen, any scene where I can just sit and watch a woman dance around in French cut underwear, I'm going to do it. So.
Yeah. But like, we don't, the recall sometimes on things isn't always great.
It's not 100%.
Too, right? Yeah, it's just things on.
It did get you to watch Flashdance, though, which is fun in its own right.
Because I want to stay true to the show.
There you go.
That's why you need to like and subscribe.
Yeah, you can tick that one off your list.
There you go. It's on there. All right, I do have a list in my house. So I do. All right, thanks, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Next week, we're going to get into Almodovar again. Hope to see you there.
Bye, you guys.